We've just had an event here with the Cambridge Commons, and you were invited to facilitate the event. So how did you find out about the Cambridge Commons as a member of Compass? And also, who are Compass?
Yeah, so Compass, firstly, are the pressure group for a good society. We were formed as a pressure group as part of the Labour Party, but then made the decision in 2011 to open to people of all parties, because we saw the future being within a cross-party understanding of politics and trying to bring together people of different siloed groups into one kind of mass movement. And the way I heard about Cambridge Commons is because Cambridge do a lot of things locally. There's a lot of political events happening, and Cambridge Commons seems to be kind of the hub around which a lot of that organises. And Cambridge Commons kind of reached out to me because I'd run a conference here a couple of years ago, which was great. 150 people packed into the room talking about constitutional questions and democracy and how we improve it. But notably, hardly any young people there. So they were saying, you know, look, where are all these young people? They care, they have opinions, their voice really matters. What can we actually do to engage them rather than just talking about listening to young people in a cliched way? So that's how I kind of became involved.
Okay, and so what were the issues that the participants raised today? Because you ran the event differently to perhaps a conference where everyone sits down and watches an expert panel wax lyrically about these things.
Sure. So we do try at Compass to make things as participative as possible, and I can never say that word. But it's mainly about trying to get the dialogue going in the room. So it's really less about what people are coming to say as some sort of expert, and more about giving people the space to discuss things with each other. So the way we ran this today is we gave short briefings on particular topics like housing, work and politics, which would specifically focus to young people. Sometimes they need a bit to sort of get their juices flowing, and also to just give some advice and information about how young people can become more active. But the thing that we found the most valuable was when young people started to talk to one another and to us about what particularly motivated them, what turned them off politics, and what's turned them on, and what particularly they wanted to get involved with and how. And that's what I found most engaging, was just their energy and optimism comes off them in waves. They create a very different vibe within the room as when you're talking to adults who often have very fixed positions, who feel that they have a wealth of experience from which to draw. So almost that uncertainty that young people have, and that sort of tentativeness to be curious, to ask questions, to not really be sure, creates a really nice space for beginning to discuss things in a much more open way than adults who can sometimes get quite entrenched in their positions about politics.
Now, we've got some local elections coming up in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough on the 4th of May, the county council elections and our regional mayoral elections. What were the themes that came out from the young people that they were talking about that you think the candidates for those elections need to know about, start talking about, and start listening to young people over?
Yeah, it's a great point. Well, I'd say two things about that. Firstly is thematic issues. So questions about the environment seem to be very high on the agenda. So both the local environment and much more national, international questions such as climate change. So there was this quite big discussion about pollution and how they found pollution in Cambridge to be a real serious problem. They wanted to know what the council were going to be doing about that. And a lot of questions about sort of how to engage young people locally, what provision there is for them, what representation they have, how to encourage more young people to stand for elections. But I think the second overarching question is, how does the council or the mayor think that they're going to engage with young people? Not just about extracting, in an event like this, what particular issues they care about, but really about pulling them into the process in a much more democratic and sustainable way, about saying there are provisions of young people. Have we thought about things like young people's advisory councils or participatory budgeting for young people's programmes? Have we thought about that kind of thing and how we can really roll that out and make that a mass participation exercise so Cambridge lead the way on this kind of thing?
Yeah. And final question, what did you personally learn from facilitating the event that perhaps at the start of the event you were not previously aware of?
Yeah, well, I think it's more a reminder than anything else about how wonderfully life-affirming it is to talk to young people about politics. It can be easy to be quite depressed, especially in current times, and I think what young people have is this very natural capacity for optimism and energy, and also a big stake in the future. So they want to know what they can do. And I think there's a lot of discussion about let's listen to young people, but it's actually more about empowering or engaging young people to go out there and do stuff for themselves. Young people, in the past has always been, this kind of rebellious spirit around the young, but increasingly a lot of studies have shown that young people are becoming much more apathetic and passive. And I think part of that is to reignite that feeling of you don't need permission to go out and do stuff. Part of being rebellious and challenging older people is the job of the young. So I really think that, I hope this event today sort of gave them a sense that we will support you if you want to go and do something, give them that self-organising spirit and make it like fun and exciting, because, you know, what's politics about if it's not about that?
Lovely. Francis, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.